You cannot be loyal if you expect to maximize your earnings as a delivery driver. These companies like to build certain programs in order to incentivize you to drive for them more often. A lot of these programs I have found do not make you more money except for the occasional exception. Multi-apping is one of the main reasons why I'm able to make so much money in one shift, sometimes hitting over $500 in one day. I'll share everything I know about this strategy in order to help you make more money. Multi-apping means you're not driving for just one app. If you are on DoorDash and you only work for them, your earnings may be limited. But if you sign up for as many apps as possible, you give yourself the best chance to maximize your earnings. This is something I've done that I think you should look into. Sign up for every single app available in your market. It seems like every week or month I'm finding out a new delivery driving app out there, and sometimes they're available in my market, and so I do some research and I eventually download their app and may even go through with the background check. I'm at the point now where I have 13 delivery driving apps on my phone right now, but I know that I've deleted some in the recent past, so it was even higher than 13. Even if I think I may never drive for that company, it's always nice to at least download the app and sign up, go through the background check, because you never know if an app is going to be so good for you. My experience with this, I was a DoorDash driver only. I was doing it for over a year and I thought I was making pretty good money. And then I started hearing more and more people talk about Uber Eats and how good that was. But I was thinking, but I'm a DoorDash driver. How could I do both? But I just decided to sign up for Uber anyway. I went through the background check, got approved, and I started doing deliveries. And wow, I wish I did it a lot sooner. And then that led me to sign up for a bunch of different apps. Some of them have been pretty good, others have just been awful, but I'm still happy that I signed up for each one that I did. Even if you go in with the mindset of, man, this company doesn't even look good, their offers are probably terrible, when would I ever drive for them? I think it's still okay. Just download the app, do the background check, go through all of the necessary steps. It usually does not take you very long to get signed up and get on the wait list, because a lot of these companies, especially the good ones, will put you on a wait list, and so you'll have to wait months and months in order to get approved. So it's better to start early. So just sign up for it, get on that wait list, and then just wait to be approved. Even though I use this strategy, and I think you should too, you should still really focus on mastering one app. If you are driving for just one company, really make sure that you have a good handle on the app. Make sure you've driven for them for a few months, just so that you understand the whole delivery process. If you're a DoorDash driver, make sure that you know which restaurants are good in your market, which ones are bad, ones that will have the order ready or not have the order ready when you arrive. And you want to make sure that you have enough experience, like with shop and pay orders versus just restaurant delivery orders. You want to make sure you know what to do when you're supposed to leave it at the door versus hand it to customer, and like when to text them. You want to make sure you have all of this in your mind, and so you really know what to do when you get a DoorDash order, so that you don't even have to think twice of when you read the instructions. You know exactly what's going on. So when you sign up for that second app and you start delivering for 2 apps or 3 apps in the same shift, you can really focus your mental energy on accepting the best possible orders instead of just trying to scramble to figure out what to do. My next pretty big tip is to not favor one app over the other, but you should probably be favoring niches. I tend to favor the restaurant delivery niche over the grocery delivery niche. A lot of these restaurant delivery apps, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, they are very similar in the way they operate. With the grocery store orders, they are a little bit different, like Instacart or Shipped. When you're shopping for items for every single order, it is very different in the way that you should be accepting orders and completing them. And so I'm not too familiar with the grocery stores in my area, so I opted for restaurant delivery. I really focused a lot of my attention on figuring out which restaurants will have the orders ready. I have also highly focused my attention on accepting the best possible orders. It's easy to do that when you're not jumping around niches, like trying to accept the best Instacart orders, but then you kind of don't really get to master what the absolute best restaurant orders are for you. I absolutely know that there is money to be made on other apps, but I highly focus on DoorDash and Uber Eats in order to make a lot of my income. I really do think that your expertise expertise in one app in that niche will help you with the other apps in there. So if I know DoorDash very, very well, then that will also help me be better prepared to figure out how Uber Eats and Grubhub work. In the same way, if I was already an Instacart master and I knew that I was leaving some money on the table because I was waiting around in parking lots for a long time for good orders, I could sign up for Shipt and start making some extra money on there. I already know how a lot of the stores are laid out in my area, and then all you have to do is accept good Shipt orders while you're waiting for Instacart orders, and then you can make more money. I get a lot of questions about this on how to add a second app to what you're already doing with that first app. I would say this is the most basic form. You should start by doing this. You're sitting in your car waiting for that good order. Once you have found one on your screen, you should accept it. Doesn't matter which app. Again, we're not favoring apps here. If you're running DoorDash and Uber Eats, you're just going to choose a good order, accept it, and then pause the other app. On DoorDash, you're gonna pause it, or on Uber, you're just gonna go offline and you're going to head to that restaurant to go pick up that order that you accepted. Don't even think about that other app until you have finished the delivery. In the beginning stages, you just should not even think about that other app while you're working on completing that other delivery. I know that you can only be paused on DoorDash for 35 minutes, but hopefully that's enough time to complete that Uber order. Once you have dropped everything off and handed it to the customer or left it at their door, you're now going to unpause yourself. You're now going to start receiving orders from both platforms again. This is very helpful. It's going to help you either find a good order faster or just better orders in general. You might have accepted lesser paying orders on one app, and now that you have two apps giving you orders, maybe there is a better offer out there that you wouldn't have seen if you were just running one app. Once you understand the game and you understand that you no longer have to be stressed out by running two apps at the same time, you can now move on to more advanced strategies, like you can unpause yourself before you actually drop off that order that you accepted. So it's still the same in the beginning. You are going to accept an order and then you're going to pause the other app. You're going to work on completing that offer, but maybe when you're at a stoplight and you're 2 minutes away from the customer, 3 minutes away from the customer, it is going to be okay to unpause yourself and start receiving orders again from that app that you have paused. Since I do decline orders more often than most people, I have found that I can use this time to probably decline some pretty bad offers that DoorDash or Uber Eats wants to send me, and I can decline maybe like 2 or 3 or maybe even more before I get a good offer. So this time is used just like, nah, I really don't want that. Let's try to find a better one. And then by the time I get to that drop off, I take the picture of the food or hand it to the customer, I might have a good order from that other app. Or if I have not accepted an order yet, I have at least gotten those bad orders out of the system. I would suggest trying that out. If you're feeling comfortable with it, try it out even more. And when you're finally ready, you can move on to the expert stage. Everything kind of remains the same, but with an added step. You're gonna look for the best order possible from your two platforms, or you may even have more than two apps at this point. You are still going to go to the restaurant, pick it up, you're still gonna drop it off, and you're going to unpause yourself about 2 or 3 minutes away from that customer. But the added step comes in before you actually get to that restaurant. You are going to accept the best possible order that you can at the time without waiting too long in your car, and you accept it, and you head off to that destination. However, you are going to leave the other apps running before you pick up the food. It is perfectly fine to do this. Hopefully you find a good offer, one that's even better than the one you already accepted. But of course, you do have to make sure that your completion rate is still relatively high so that you are not deactivated from certain platforms. Companies have different rules on what an acceptable completion rate is, so just make sure to do your research to make sure you're not unassigning too many offers. In a practical way, what does this look like? Let's say I accept a DoorDash order. I thought it was pretty good. It was $7 going 3 miles. That's a pretty decent order, so I might accept it. while I'm waiting in my car. Again, I don't want to wait in a parking lot too long. I don't want to decline enough to where I'm just like sitting around waiting for 10-15 minutes. That would be a waste of time. So I accept this $7 order and I start driving to the restaurant. It's about a half mile away, so it gives me time to still search for a good Uber Eats order. Well, it may happen that I get a $9 Uber Eats order and it's only going 2 miles. Well, this is something I need to think about. Should I keep that DoorDash order or should I go for that Uber Eats offer? Well, it all just depends on your situation. I really do like to complete the order that I accepted first. It really just makes sense. That customer already knows that you accepted the offer and they know that you're headed to the restaurant. And so I try to avoid unassigning or canceling orders as often as I can, but sometimes the order that I get from my second app is just too good to pass up and I'm going to have to accept it. You are going to have to run the calculation in your head on which specific orders are okay for you to use this strategy on. Like I said, I don't use it too often because, you know, it kind of ruins the customer experience a little bit, but I am trying to maximize my earnings. We're not just like playing some sort of game out there. This is our actual income, and so we need to take it very seriously and try to make the most that we can. But customer experience on the app does matter because let's say if 3 drivers unassign their order before someone finally comes and picks it up and then goes and delivers it, maybe their order is really late, maybe their food is cold, they may not want to order from these apps ever again, and so that is going to hurt you in your market. So you just have to be very careful on when you decide to unassign orders. Is all of this extra effort really worth it? It seems exhausting to have to do this with multiple apps. Well, let me tell you my experience, but first I do have one more tip for you. When you're multi-apping, you really need to be tracking your mileage. You could be losing out on thousands of dollars depending on how much you drive if you do not try to get these tax deductions that the IRS gives you when you are a delivery driver. A very helpful tip for you to know when you're multi-apping, you do not need to track your miles individually for each app that you drive. I think people get caught up in this, and I get a lot of questions in my comment section about how it works tracking your mileage when you're using 2, 3, 4, 5 apps in one day. You could just turn on your mileage tracking at the beginning of your shift, and as long as you are consistently looking for orders and completing them, you don't need to say, okay, I drove 6 miles on that DoorDash order and then 3 miles on that Uber order. That would be a huge hassle. You don't have to do that. Just turn it on at the beginning of the shift and turn it off at the end. But you may not even need to think about this mileage tracking, and that is where Solo comes in. Solo has a new trips feature for you that can track all of your mileage right from your phone. At the beginning of your shift, while you're activating yourselves on 3, 4, 5 apps, it may be a little bit of a hassle to also activate yourself on a mileage tracking app. Well, as long as you have Solo running in the background, you don't need to worry about manually clicking that you are starting your trip, and you don't have to worry about at the end of your shift clicking that you have stopped your shift. Solo will auto detect your trips for you. They know when you are driving, and if you have your linked accounts like I do, then they will auto classify them either as personal trips or business trips because they know when you are making money. Solo has this amazing mileage tracking feature, but they have so much more. They can track your income and your expected taxes along with many other features. So if you download Solo, you can get $10 just for signing up, linking one delivery driving account. I have all of mine linked on Solo, and you just have to have your Venmo or PayPal set up and you get $10. So in my experience, is multi-apping worth it? For me, I would say absolutely yes. It is going to make me more money. I just have more options when I'm trying to accept orders, and so I can really look for the best ones. It's also going to give me more freedom on the road because I can choose to work certain apps. If I'm not feeling like working a certain app for whatever reason, maybe I just don't want to, then I really don't have to. Multi-apping also comes with less risk. If you happen to be deactivated from one platform like I was, Point Pickup deactivated me, I really was not worried at all because I had all of my other apps that could make me some money. One downside to multi-apping is that it can be very difficult to track. You have a ton of different apps. There's income, there's expenses, there's estimated taxes you have to worry about. But thankfully with Solo, I can track all of that under one app and I can see all of the totals right in front of my eyes in a matter of seconds. I really don't see a downside to multi-apping. You're most likely going to make more money when you have more options. But if you really hate it that much, then you can simply just stop driving for all the other apps and then focus on one. You may want to do some research to find out which apps are available in your market, and then you can start downloading them. So while you're already downloading quite a few apps, here are 5 more that you should download because they will help you make more money or save money on the road. And also, if you want to use my link to sign up for Solo, it'll also be right here for you. Thanks so much for watching. Get your $10 with Solo, and I'll see you next time.